Today, I'm going to be sharing an example of what your mix should not look like on a spectrum analyzer. Let me show you what I've seen with some of my recent client work. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about unbalanced mixes and what your mix should not look like before you send it to mastering. I have some clients that send stuff in like this, and I think it's because obviously their room is colored or various reasons, which we're going to get into. But don't send mixes that look like they do in the YouTube thumbnail that you saw. Let's talk about some of the reasons. Common problems I see is large drop-offs in high end. Most common problem I see is huge humps in the low end. And sometimes, occasionally, I'll see dips in the mid-range. So pay attention to that. You know, it may sound good in your room, and this is why people take it to the car or do the car trick. Okay, let's take a look at some of the examples here. Here's two examples of, see this low-end hump right here. That is not ideal, and you should pay attention to that when you're crafting your mixes. Here's another example. Look at this one, drops off at 10K, and even here at 2K, 1.7, it just kind of shelves down. And okay, the low end is a little more balanced in this one, but you just see this huge drop off. So these are some examples of what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying you should mix visually. There's going to be some drop off, but there's always that room for improvement in your mixes, and having a spectrum analyzer can help you kind of get you in the right direction if you have problems. So let's talk about what some of the problems might be. So why your mix might sound like this is because you have room coloration, or you're just not skilled, or your speakers can't reproduce maybe the low end. Whatever those reasons might be, you need to be aware of those issues. One of the reasons why people take things, you've probably heard of the car trick, or take things to another source, you listen in your earbuds, is to monitor them in another source and to try to spot some of these problems. But I do feel like you can probably nip some of those problems in the butt just by putting a spectrum analyzer on your master fader and periodically checking that. Another way to fix this problem is to use references, and I talk about this a lot. But having references in your DAW or using a reference plugin like Adapter Metric AB, where you go back and forth, it is very important to level match though, because if you don't level match, you're going to think the louder master or the reference is obviously better. But if you level match and then you go back and forth and compare, you'll be able to tell tonal balance differences. And think about this. If your room is colored and you're listening to a reference that you know sounds great in lots of sources, and you love and is in the similar vein of music as you, then you're going to hear that song with some color difference and variations in the frequency spectrum as it was intended to. But if you try to balance your mix to be similar to that, you're going to get in the ballpark. Another thing I always recommend is to get acoustic treatment. I mean, it does help. People think that foam works. It unfortunately does not work in the low end. You definitely need to get your room acoustically consulted to get the most professional results. But you don't need to spend an arm and a leg, just look into it. And as I said, putting a spectrum analyzer on your mix can help you understand where you might be going wrong with some of your mixes. So I always have one on in the back of my master chain, just running there in the background that I can pop open anytime I see fit. And last but not least, I would like to mention that you should be paying attention to this as you're producing and mixing. You know, all of these things play a part, and just like gain staging, which I did a video on, I'll leave you a link to that in the description. You should be paying attention to the whole spectrum and the frequency analysis of your mix as you're crafting it, or even as you're producing your song. It really can help you just get the balance right along the way so you have less work to do later. And the faster you can get at producing and mixing with great results is so much more beneficial than just trying to go back and fix things over and over and over. So I hope this video helps you out. I'm not putting anybody on blast. This is more of an educational and insightful video, but just make sure, once again, you try not to make your mixes look like that. Hopefully this helps. Have a great day. Thank you for watching this video on what your mix should not look like. If you have any questions, be sure to shoot me a comment down below. My name is Freddie from Distinct Mastering, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and the bell notification will keep you up to date. And if you need help with your mastering, be sure to check the link below for a free stereo mastered sample. Thank you again, and have a great day.